Hey, Eagle fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome to Philadelphia Eagles Now. We are answering your mailbag questions. It is the weekend. We're going to jump into all of your great mailbag questions. But as we always say, if you want to be a part of next week's mailbag video, you've got to be subscribed and also go down below and use the hashtag Eagles. So subscribe. But while we're here, I want to thank you guys for helping us get to 20,000 subscribers here on the channel. 20,000 Eagle fans strong in our community. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. If you've not subscribed yet, you're missing out. Chance to get on our mailbag. But if you have, I appreciate you guys a ton to get us up here to 20K. All right, let's go to answer your guys' Eagle mailbag questions. We will start with Philadelphia Eagle News, who says, Mott, how many wide receivers do you think are making the roster? 12? With a laughy emoji. Bruh, if you add Washington, that's James Washington, all you're doing is taking away snaps from Fulgham and Quez, both who I like better and have much more potential, end quote. Okay, they're not going to keep 12. I know, you're obviously joking. I want to keep as many receivers as possible. Like, here's the deal. I agree with you, but I also don't agree with you. Like, I want the best wide receivers to play. If that is James Washington over Quez Watkins and Travis Fulgham, even though we think that Watkins and Fulgham are going to have a good year, everything I'm hearing is that they're having a good year, I still would want Washington over them if he's going to play better. I don't care what the name is on the back of the jersey. I don't care if Rager is the number one wide receiver, Devontae Smith's the number one wide receiver, it's Fulgham, if it's Ward, if it's Rager, if it's Watkins, if it's Heights, Washington, I don't care. I want the best receivers out there to play because everything we have seen over the past couple of years is that the Eagles wide receiver core has been one of the weakest points of their roster. It goes all the way back to Carson Wentz. I mean, Carson Wentz has had decent weapons. You saw it during the Eagles Super Bowl run, but they've never had a consistent threat on the outside of wide receiver since Deshaun Jackson. It's been a very, 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 very long time. I'm confident in this group, but I'm not going to sit back and say just because Travis Fulgham played well for 4 games last year that he deserves to be the number 3 or number 2 wide receiver. Like, I want him to, and it's an open competition and a meritocracy to see what happens, but if you could have a chance to bring in a guy like James Washington and let him compete, if he's better, I'm all for playing him because I want the best wide receivers to go ahead and play. Although, I will agree, I think Watkins and Fulgham are going to have a very, very good season. I'm pumped to see what they're going to be able to do on the outside. All right, pin comment down below. If you hit the ad break, go down below, answer this pin comment, fill in the blank. The Eagles wide receiver core is a top blank in the NFL. So it's tough because we don't know how good they're going to be, right? I hope top 10, maybe top 15, top blank. Answer the pin comment down below right now. All right, let's move over here to Prentice Lott, who says, do you think the NFC East could get 3 playoff teams going to the playoffs this year? Hashtag Eagles. 3 is a big number. I don't think 3. I think the East can have 2 playoff teams because, of course, they're going to have a division winner, and the wild card, with there being 7 teams total and 3 wild card spots, is a very big likelihood. In terms of what teams could possibly go, it's up in the air. I think Dak Prescott's shoulder injury, he's having an MRI on that, is a serious issue. I think Dak Prescott is not as healthy as the Dallas Cowboys have been saying. If that's the case, then Dallas might not be as good as people are projecting. I like Washington, but Washington has quarterback problems. I don't think Ryan Fitzpatrick is ready to lead a team to double-digit wins. And the Giants are interesting as how healthy is Saquon Barkley going to be? How good is Daniel Jones? Can their defense actually step up and stop anybody on the backside? And then, of course, is Joe Judge a good coach, or is he just another Belichick disciple wannabe who turns out to be not that good? I mean, these are all question marks that are happening right now in the NFC East. And so I think that, obviously, the division winner will obviously go because that's how it works in the NFL. And then one more team. If I had to bet on it, I would say Philadelphia and the Cowboys would be those 2 teams because I don't know if I hope. I want Dak to be healthy because I'm not a hater, but I also would like the Cowboys to struggle. So if Dak was unhealthy, it would be good. But you get my point. I want Dak to be 100%, and the Cowboys still stink. But if he's not, then maybe it's Washington. The defense is good enough. So I just don't see 3 teams. 3 teams is a big number, and there are a lot of good teams in the NFC East. I think 3 teams from the NFC West is a possibility, but NFC East, maybe not. Okay, Philly, STYX, I don't know how to say that. Okay, Eagles with everything that went down. Think Zach Ertz will show effort during the regular season. Yes, and if all our young players play well, like we all hope they do, what are our chances at the playoffs? So Ertz is going to show effort. There's no way that Ertz gets to the start of the season and he doesn't show effort. The only way that Ertz would not show effort is if he's traded, and then he would be somewhere else. So he couldn't show effort on our team because he's traded, right? So there's still a possibility that Zach Ertz is traded by the start of the first game. That's a possibility, but I think he's going to be there. And if he is, I think he's going to play his heart out his final year in Philadelphia. I think he's going to try to have a great season, stay healthy, because then he goes into free agency in 2022 and hopefully gets a big giant contract by a different team because it won't be us because we, of course, have Dallas Goedert. So that's the Ertz side of things. And the wins and loss things, listen, the Eagles can win a lot of games. the Eagles are a very good football team. And I think people are negating that, and they don't want to believe that, and they think that the roster is the same as it was last year, and it's not. It's very different. The linebacking core has been dramatically increased. The secondary has been a lot of holes plugged there. Wide receiver core is a lot better. The running back core is a lot better. The offensive line is healthy, and if Jalen Hurts is good, then the train's going to roll on. I think they can win a lot of games, and if they are as good as we think that they're going to be, at least I think that they're going to be, then the chances of playoffs are pretty good. I mean, your division, like we just talked about, has holes, has bright spots, has good teams, maybe has bad teams, who really knows, but all you got to do is win 9 to 11 games and you're going to the postseason. This Philadelphia Eagles team, with the second easiest schedule in the NFL and all the holes filled at a lot of places on this roster, can definitely have a chance at winning that many games. Now, what do you guys think? Will the Eagles win the NFC East? Here's a good question. If you think they will, type Y down below for yes. If you think that they won't, then go down below and type N down below for no. Now, I'm very confident, and my friends, kind of yell at me for being as confident and trustworthy as I am in the Eagles. But if you guys feel the same way that I do, put your money where your mouth is and get to betting on Philadelphia's chances at winning games or winning the NFC East or whatever it is. Chatsports.com/EaglesBet is the place to go. Use our promo code Eagles125. Get that 125% deposit bonus whenever you first sign up. Put your first $100 down. And of course, you bet on Philadelphia. You can bet on the Phillies right now. The NL East is very crowded. And then even the Philadelphia Union, like all major sports, even some of the lesser-known sporting teams, can go ahead and be bet on with our friends at BetUS. And as we keep saying, the Eagles still have the worst odds win the NFC, so if you're confident like I am, go down below and bet on them. Hopefully it can win you some money and some enjoyment because you win money and the Eagles would win. That is a win-win overall. Chatsports.com/EaglesBet, Eagles125. Get to betting on Philadelphia. Tim Force says, I heard Nick Sirianni speak highly about Boston Scott in a press conference, PC. So I was like, what? Press conference? I think he should be running back 2 and get more involved. What are your thoughts? Yeah, I mean, I watched this press conference too. Here's the deal. Scott has had a great camp. Boston Scott has been really good so far in training camp. He's been the most reliable running back catching the football out of the backfield. Miles Sanders continues to deal with drops and had the worst running back pass drop rate in the NFL last year. So Scott did not, and he's been good in training camp so far. And they're giving Boston Scott a lot of reps. I think Boston Scott is going to have a chance to be the number 2 running back. They're trying to mix everybody in there. It's a crowded room. You got Kenny Gainwell, you have Kerryon Johnson, you have Jordan Howard, you have some of the other guys, Elijah Holyfield, Adrian Killings. Like, you have a lot of running backs that are trying to mix in for some reps and a spot, but I think right now Scott would be the leader in the clubhouse to be the number 2 running back behind Miles Sanders. Like, Sanders is 1. He's the most talented running back on the roster, but Scott continues to be that fly that won't go away. I mean, he won't die. He is so good at what he does, and whether you love him or you hate him, he's an undrafted free agent with a chip on his shoulder who's played really, really well, and I respect and love him for that. I think you're right. He's going to be having a big impact this year, and right now is definitely the number 2 running back. Who do you guys think should be the number 2 running back on this roster, like right now? Is it Scott, is it Gainwell, or is it Johnson? Type S down below for Scott, type G down below for Gainwell, or go ahead and type J down below for Kerryon Johnson. Right now, I think the winner of the clubhouse should be S for Boston Scott. Okay, 2 more. Brett Naylor says, it looks like Dillard won't win the left tackle position because he's limited as a backup. No good at right tackle. Should the Eagles trade him before his deficiencies are well known? I've heard a few teams are looking to bolster their O-lines. So you're right on this. Dillard is losing right now the left tackle job, and he's been a little banged up as well, and that's obviously not helping. But Mailata is the starter. He was a starter on Friday night. I mean, literally, or Thursday night, whatever it was. But he is very clearly going to be the left tackle, barring injury. Knock on wood. I would trade Andre Dillard. And I think if you're for sure that Jordan Mailata is going to be great, as most of us are, then you go ahead and make a phone call or see if someone else wants to call you about the left tackle spot. So I would agree. I think that they should try to trade him. I wouldn't. I mean, you want to get the most you can out of him, and I agree with that in terms of price, but if you could keep him as a backup in case there were injuries like you saw last year, I wouldn't hate that either. But yeah, Dillard's losing this battle, and he's losing it. It's not even close. Daryl Stevenson says, I think the Eagles have a top 10 defense this year. Top 10 is hard. Top 15, yes. Okay, here's the deal. All the defensive holes are filled. Like we need to address this. This is what a lot of non-Eagle fans don't understand, is that the Eagles defense, the holes are filled. D-line, stacked, good to go. Top 5, top 3 in the National Football League. It's ready to rock. Linebacker, they added Eric Wilson. The merger to TJ Edwards and Alex Singleton mean it's not the worst linebacking core in the NFL as it seemed to be last year. And then secondary, they are going to hopefully have a healthy Ronnie McLeod. If not, Kayvon Wallace is going to be ready to go. They added Anthony Harris. That plugs a major hole left by Jalen Mills, who wasn't that good anyway. They had, obviously, Darius Slay, who's going to be great this year, at least should be good. And then they fill in the hole at left cornerback with the addition of Steven Nelson, and then have good depth behind him in Avonte Maddox and Zach McPherson. So they filled all the defensive holes. And so as long as these guys play well, and I think that they will, then this is going to be at least a top 15 defense. And then I think the hope is that they will go ahead and be a top 10 defense. So I'm not going to guarantee top 10. I need to see what they're able to do, and I want to see what the new defensive coordinator, what Gannon's defense is going to look like. But I think they're going to be very good this year, and a lot better than people are giving them credit. Which do you trust more? We'll end on this. Eagles defense or Eagles offense? Right now, like which do you think is better? Type O down below for offense, or go ahead and type D down below for defense. Who do you think is better? Let me know in the comments section. All right, ultimate for today here on our Philadelphia Eagles weekend mailbag. Use the hashtag Eagles in the comments section to get in on our next mailbag coming up next week. Of course, you're going to be subscribed, so make sure you guys are subscribed for that as well. But that's ultimately out for today. If I missed your mailbag question, ask below, and it'll hopefully be answered next week. I'm Thomas Mott for Philadelphia Eagles Now, signing off. For the rest of your day.